and welcome back to Potted Plant Entertainment. Yes, it's been a while since we've done a sit-down video together. Just you and I. Just you and I. You know, I missed you. I missed having the ability to caress your face. You know, don't get scared. It's okay. I don't bite. Anyways, nice to do another sit-down video. Don't get to do this too often anymore, but if you haven't been checking out the shorts, check out the shorts because I give you my thoughts on all the new movies that I see. Right over there, one tab over. So go check those out because I post there a lot, especially ever since my work schedule changed. I've been able to go to the movies a lot more often. So I did not see Megan 2.0 or F1 yet, but I will try and go see those next week, as well as Jurassic World Rebirth. I'm going to try and see all three of those movies in one weekend. So next weekend is going to be a fun weekend for movies. Also, it's 4th of July weekend. So that means you have to watch Independence Day, and you have to watch my review of Independence Day. Yes, that is on the Potted Plant Entertainment channel. Check it out. Okay, so today I'm doing something that I have never done before, ever. Today, I am doing a book review. Stay! Don't leave! Please don't leave. I know, we're here for movies, but today I figured I'd try something a little bit different. Alright? So, I'm going to be doing not just one book review, though, 2 book reviews. The first one we're going to be doing is Mark Hoppus, Fahrenheit 182. Now, for those of you who do not know, Mark Hoppus is a very famous rock star, known for being in the band Blink-182. And this is his autobiography. And the second one is also an autobiography called Walking Disaster, My Life Through Heaven and Hell. This book was written by Derek Whibley, who is the founder and the lead singer of the band Sum 41. And this is his autobiography about his life. So, I've talked about music a little bit, very, very little on the channel before. I did a video like forever ago showing my entire CD collection, which, by the way, has grown quite a bit since then. But if you watch that video, you get the sense of like my taste in music, which is rock. I like rock music, right? And Blink-182 and Sum 41 are 2 of my absolute favorite bands. By the way, I just noticed, don't mind this. I've been doing a little redecorating. Anyways, just didn't have where else to put them. Anyways, this is the real anyways. So, I did not take notes for this, and this was kind of a spur-of-the-moment video. I got a little bit of time, so I figured, why not? Let's talk about a couple of books that I recently read. So, again, not scripted, off the cuff, just going to briefly give my thoughts on it. Just the thing. All right. I've been reading more lately. If you can believe it, lately I've gotten a little bit into reading. I've read a few books, so I'm not like super into it or looking for like anything to read. I haven't read any novels outside of Star Trek comics. But I've gotten a little bit into reading. Oh my God, I dropped it. I hope I didn't. Okay, I didn't do any damage to it. Thank God. Okay, so this is Fahrenheit 182. So Mark Hoppus is the bassist as well as the lead vocalist for Blink-182, which he shares the lead vocal duties with the guitar player Tom DeLonge and, of course, their drummer, who's probably the most famous member of the band, arguably, is Travis Barker, who is married to a Kardashian. So maybe some of you know him from that. I hope not. Anyway, so the book basically opens with him as a kid, and then it ends with, by the way, this will have spoilers in it, just for anybody who's looking to read either of these books. But it ends with him playing in Lollapalooza a few years ago, and how that was a big comeback for the band. And basically the trials that he's gone through from childhood to now, and the ups and downs of the band, and the fact that he beat lymphoma, which was really rough on him. So really, you learn a lot about the guy. Mark Hoppus is my favorite member of Blink-182, and so I was really excited when I saw he had released a memoir. And I read the thing from cover to cover. Like, this was the first book that I read in a long time, and like I would come home from work like ready to like watch TV or something, but instead I'd be like, I kind of want to pick up that book, and then I would just read this book for a while. Like I had a hard time putting this thing down. Like, it's really entertaining. If you're a Blink-182 fan, this is a must have. You have to read this book. Like, You can't be a Blink-182 fan and not read this book. Like, this is the inside scoop from Mark Hoppus's perspective. It's about how, you know, he talks about like why Scott Raynor, who was the original drummer, why he left the band, and how he met his wife and all sorts of good stuff, man. Like the background of where the 182 came from, which everybody seems to have a different theory for that, but in this book he actually tells you where that came from, what his family dynamic was like growing up, and how hard it was for them to become a band, because Blink-182 came up in the 90s, right? And that's back before the internet was big, and so they did everything the old-fashioned way. They went and played in like these really crappy venues to try and get noticed. They would put together like their own mixtapes, and they would try and get stores to like display it. He was talking about how like he would go to Kinko's, which I know a lot of you don't know what Kinko's is. It doesn't exist anymore, I'm pretty sure. But he would go to Kinko's and try and make t-shirts. A lot of times they would just smear, and how they would try and come up with art to like put on like posts and stuff, and basically they did everything the hard way, and it was their hard work and determination that got them noticed. They really had to, quote unquote, pay their dues in order to break into the business. And after reading this book, I gained like a lot of respect for the band, because they really did not have it easy trying to become famous. But through sheer will and determination and pouring their blood, sweat, and tears into it, they, by God, fought their way into the industry and came out on top. He talks about his parents' divorce, how that impacted him. He talks about like where the song "Go" from their Untitled album, or self-titled, whichever you call it. Some people call it one or the other. What that song means. He talks about what Adam's song means, which are two songs that he wrote. He talks about "Stay Together for the Kids" and what that meant to Tom DeLonge. He talks about what the band was doing when 9/11 happened. He talks about like trips that he took that really like, you know, made him look at things from a different perspective, and how the band went into the Middle East during the war after 9/11 and seeing what it was like for the troops over there, and his complicated relationship with Tom DeLonge, and how that was just up and down and up and down, and how in 2011 when they were on the Neighborhoods tour, they were really just kind of phoning it in. This book gives you everything that a Blink-182 fan could want. And I legit, like I said, I had a hard time putting it down. I loved reading this book. It's funny as well. He interjects a lot of good humor into it. Mark Hoppus is naturally a funny guy. I saw them in concert last July, and I'm going to see them again in September. And he was funny up on the stage then, and you could tell that the three of them were up there having a really good time. Like, you could tell that they wanted to be there. It's sad through most of it, but it has a happy ending, and it's just nice. And like, you could tell that this was the right time for him to do this, and I really appreciate the book. Okay, next one I'm going to talk about probably have some similar points for the Derek Whibley book. So this maybe starts with his childhood and how he was raised by a single mom who had him when he was a teenager, or like super young. I can't remember exactly how old, but super young. And the crappy boyfriends and stepdads that he had, that his mom gave him, and how he used to move around a lot, and growing up in Canada, how he used to get beat up by neo-Nazis, which is crazy, and how he found a love for music, and how the band was formed. And it's just like Blink-182, these are guys that really paid their dues. They really had to work hard, especially him, because he was basically the sole songwriter for like the band's entire run, basically. There wasn't really much else. Writing credits went to hardly anybody else. Like, he talks about how like he would lock himself in a room and write entire albums, like while the rest of the band was like on vacation and stuff. So like Derek Whibley like really carried this band through the years. But how hard they had to fight to get into the industry and get noticed, and how they ended up getting noticed, and the fact that he had to deal with being sexually assaulted by his mentor, a male mentor, even though he's not gay, for years, and how he covered it up and hid it for years, and how the only people he ever told for a long time were his two wives. Of course, the most famous one being Avril Lavigne, who was his first wife. All the drugs that he did over the years and how it affected him, and his eventual deep dive into alcoholism and how it came this close to killing him. I mean, both these guys survived these pretty terrible things. I mean, he got alcoholism that was so bad. If you look at pictures of him from that point in his life, how he was bloated, and then when he got out of the hospital, like how skinny and frail he looked, and he just looked weird, like something out of The Hobbit or something. But he looks great now because he fought really hard to come back from it. And he talks about like just the endless parties. Like, my God, this guy goes to a lot of parties. Like, I can't remember the last time I got invited to a party. But he went to a lot of parties, did a lot of drinking, did a lot of drugs, just all the typical rock star stuff. And he talks about his complicated relationship with the other band members and how Dave Brownsound left the band. He eventually came back to the band. I think he had the most complicated relationship with his drummer, who's no longer the drummer of the band. I mean, the band's retired now. They retired this year, but he had a really complicated relationship with him. But the cool stuff that he got to do, like he got to do a collab with Iggy Pop, right? And that's available online. He did a collab with Tenacious D, which is Jack Black's little musical duo. It's kind of funny. But it's inspiring. This is a really inspiring book about how, when I read this book, there are so many points in the story where so many people would have given up, right? I may not even be an exception to that. But he didn't. And the band went out on top. When he recovered from his alcoholism, they did 3 more albums, and their last album was a double album. And he finally said, hey, it's time that we retire this band. And last year, I think last May, I got to see the band in concert at the Norva in Norfolk, Virginia. And my buddy Jason was there. I was there with my buddy Jason and my girlfriend, Priscilla. And we were having a hard time finding somewhere where Priscilla could see, because I was all the way in the very back and could see just fine, but she couldn't. I took her all over the place trying to find somewhere where she could see. Well, we had gotten separated from my friend at some point, and eventually he comes back to us, and we're like, dude, where have you been? He was like, I was up front. And my girlfriend's like, can you get us up front? And he's like, yeah. And we follow him, and I'm thinking like, oh man, I'm going to bump shoulders with the wrong person. I'm going to get in a fight. I'm going to get kicked out. I'm never going to get to see the band because this is their final tour. But he got us up pretty close to the front. We were around some nice people that helped my girlfriend be able to see better. And I was like, oh gosh, I don't know, maybe like 20 feet from the stage. I mean, they were right there. Like, any pictures that I put are not going to justify how close they were. Like, they were right there in front of me. And honestly, that might have been the best night of my life. Like, it was such a good time being right there in front of them. I'm never going to get to experience that again, ever. But it was magical while it lasted, I gotta say. And I didn't get a whole lot of pictures and videos because I was more focused on trying to live in the moment. But, oh my God, dude. It was a lot of fun. So, Derek Whibley, you're an inspiration, man. Hats off to you, because you definitely did not have it easy. And I think both these guys' stories really go to show that fame and fortune isn't everything, and it doesn't automatically bring you happiness. Now, I will say, and this may be an unpopular opinion, but I am also a big believer that money is a gigantic source of happiness. I 100% guarantee you that most of the problems in my life could go away simply by me acquiring more money. And my life could become way better if I had more money. However, what you choose to do with your life and the decisions you make once you get all of that will determine whether or not you live a better life versus when you did when you had less money. And you really learn that Mark Hoppus didn't really make a lot of crappy decisions. He never did like drugs, but just the circumstances around him. Like, life can get to anyone. And Derek Whibley's book shows that the decisions you make will impact what kind of a life you live and how happy you are. I'm really happy that both these guys are living their best lives right now. I'm super happy for them. They're both huge, like I said, huge inspirations for the hell that they had to go through. But I love those two bands so much. And reading these books was a real treat as a mega fan of both bands. I started to lose my voice at some point, so I'm gonna go. But, again, just thoughts on the books. Did you read these books? Let me know in the comments. Curious to know. I have a skit that I made a little while ago that I'm currently trying to work out to get up on the channel, so that'll be up when it's up. I also have been working on a review. I have the notes. I think they're pretty much finished, so that'll come when it comes. But other than that, follow the shorts tab. There's going to be plenty more content there. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Subscribe, subscribble, hit the subscribbles button, guys. We hit 200 subscribers a few months ago. Yay! I did it, guys. 200 subscribers, man. I never even thought I'd get past 20. So thank you to everyone who has subscribed and has stuck around. I really appreciate it. I'm going to go because my voice is getting even more jacked up now. Has it really been this long since I've done this? Because my voice box is not liking it. I'm going to go. I'm going to go, my guys. Much love. Much love. Subscribble. I'll see you again when I see you. And as always, much love.